Deb Newman. I'm the president of Bloomington Rotary. And today I am going to turn our meeting over to Terry Starwald, who's going to run the entire meeting. So that's why he'll ask you to stand in just a moment. But I want to introduce Terry. So those of you that are students know Terry really well because he's with you several times a month. But I want to give you a little of Terry's background. Terry Starwald has been a Bloomington Rotarian for about 15 years, and he currently co-chairs our Club Strive program with Don Stiles, and you know that. Terry was born in North Carolina, which I think you probably also know, and he spent much of his life in the U.S. Army and U.S. Coast Guard. The military offered Terry many unique educational opportunities, such as learning how to parachute, how to scuba dive, along with what's referred to as a hard hat deep sea diving. So you'll have to ask him about that one of the next times you see him in your class. The military also instilled in Terry how education is a lifelong endeavor and essential if you have any hopes of achieving your goals. With that in mind, he's completed an associate degree in industrial technology management, a Bachelor of Arts in sociology, a Master's of Business Administration, various professional programs and certificates, and is one course away from a Master's in the study of law. So Terry moved to Minnesota in 1990 and met and married Sherry. Their extended family consists of 2 sons, 2 daughter-in-laws, 3 grandchildren. Terry is the Vice President of Business Services at Richfield Bloomington Credit Union, and he would like everyone to know that despite his refusal to lose his Southern dialect, Minnesota, and specifically the Twin Cities, is one of the nicest places he has lived and thinks we should all be thankful for the opportunities available to us here. So I'd like to welcome Terry up to the podium, and Terry's going to continue the meeting. Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Deb. We're going to run a lot of the program today in the same manner that we run our normal program. So I would ask all of you if you would stand, and we're going to do an invocation. Our invocation is going to be by Reverend Saul Gruskoff, Redemption Lutheran Church.
Let us take a moment, and if you would, please pray with me. Lord, we thank you for bringing us together this day at this special lunch of friendship, mentoring, and goodwill. We ask for a special blessing on our Strive guests as we learn about who they are, what they want to do with the talents and desires that you have given them. Together, we offer our gratitude for the food that has been given, our time together, and Rotary, which has brought us together. Guide each and every one of us as we go forward in service to others. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll stay standing, I'm going to, at this point in the program, we usually do the Rotary 4-way test, and I'm going to get to that in a moment. But first, I would like, especially our students, to hear the object of Rotary, and that is the development of acquaintances as an opportunity for service, high ethical standards in business and professionals, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. And finally, the advancement of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons united in the ideal of service. With that in mind, Rotary has the 4-way test. This is something we recite at every meeting, and it is something that we think, say, and do with regard to all of our interactions, both business and personal. The Rotarians would please join me in the 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it be good, build better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Please be seated. Take a moment just to introduce some of our guests. First of all, we have a guest of Rotarian Mary Kurth, Dwight Geisler. Did I say that right, Dwight?
Can I introduce
Yes.
Dwight Geisler, who is a long-term member of the Bloomington Daymaker Rotary Club and has been very active in the STRIVE program with Jefferson as part of that. And he is also a pilot with Northwest Airlines. I'm sorry, Delta Airlines.
Welcome, Dwight. And then Colleen Simpson, Executive Director of Normandale Community College Foundation. All you guys going to Normandale, take a look back there, make sure you know who she is, and introduce yourself before you leave today. Now we have several other guests with us, and I'd like those to stand. First, from Normandale Community College, Paige Wheeler. Paige, would you stand? And Alex Soth, Simone-Benedict, and Fatima. Where did I just lose my page here? Fatima. Okay. These students, well, Paige is the lead center for experimental education coordinator at Normandale. Her students have been helping us with STRIVE for many, many years, and they've agreed to show up today and share some of their experiences with our current batch of students. So thank you so much. From John F. Kennedy High School, I will ask you to stand, please. We have the principal, Ms. Carol Campa. We have the Dean of Students, Ms. Jessica Rice. And we have our Latino student advocate, Ms. Rosa Flores, who they've been central in our program for many, many years. And to be honest with you, I don't think we could do it if it wasn't for all the assistance that they offer us. And actually the opportunity for allowing us into school. So thank you so much. We have several other prominent people with us today. I'm not going to do a formal introduction, but I just want to let the students to know. The superintendent of District 271, Leslie Jataki, is a member of our club. We have Joyce Esther, the president of Normandale Community College. She's a member of our club. Debbie Belfry is a member of our club, who is a coordinator of career development for District 271. Now, just in case, did I miss anybody? Fantastic. Thank you so much. STRIVE program has been going on for more years than I know. I'm going to say a couple of decades. The thing that makes it work in our club is all the mentors that help out throughout the years. Some of them show up at every class. Some of them show up several times a year. But I would like all mentors to please rise just so the students can see how many people it takes to make a STRIVE year work. So please rise. Thank you. And now for the Rotarians, our special guest, our honored guest. Would all our STRIVE students please stand? Thank you. This program is about you. That's why we're here today. I hope you've had some wonderful conversations at your table. I hope you make some connections that you can depend on throughout the year to help you with whatever direction you're going to pursue. Our program today is going to be a panel discussion. We have 3 students who I just introduced from Normandale Community College, and they're going to share with you their stories, what they found, how education has helped them along their way, and we're going to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might want to ask of them. This is something we've kind of tried to teach in Strive. We'll continue to teach it, but you have to take advantages of opportunities when they are presented to you. So today, with these 3 students, if anything comes up and you have a question about, well, how is that going to affect my future, ask, because that's the only way you find out the answer a lot of times. Most of the Rotarians here remember Alex Soth from last year. She's a first-generation college student at Normandale Community College, and she assisted last year with our Strive program at Kennedy High School. Alex will finish her studies at Normandale Community College this year and will be moving on to a 4-year college with her ultimate goal of obtaining a master's degree in social work. As I just said, Alex spoke to our luncheon last year, and she has agreed to come back and share her inspirational story with a new group of students. Alex, would you come up? Iriah Simone-Benedict currently is enrolled as a music student at Normandale Community College. She was born in Houston, Texas, and moved to St. Paul, Minnesota with her family when she was 7. Iriah is enrolled as a music student at Normandale, and her goal is to go to a 4-year institution to complete a bachelor's of music education in voice performance and a minor in business management. Ms. Benedict's dream is to use her training and influence to influence young people about the arts in her private studio, as well as perform with various music companies. Ms. Bennett? Fatima, you're going to have to correct me if I do this wrong. Fatima Abdikadir? Close. Is a Normandale student and first-generation college student. Her plans are to transfer to the University of Minnesota, Rochester, where she will be completing a bachelor's degree of science in sonography? Okay. At the Mayo Clinic, and she's on a pre-med track. Her long-term goal is to go to medical school and become a OBGYN so that she can work with underserved communities here in Minnesota. And she also plans to travel back to Somalia, where she intends to run her own hospital. Fatima. Now, we're going to do things, here's how we're going to have to do things, okay? The microphone is fixed, so I can't move it. I apologize for that. But I'm going to have each of you to come up individually, please. Just introduce yourselves and kind of give the audience an idea of your story. And then once we've done all 3 of you, we'll start with some questions and go from there. Alex, would you like to begin?
Hi everyone, I'm Alex, like Terry said. I was one of the Strive mentors last year from Normandale. And I really had a great time working with the Strive program last year, so I actually do miss it working with it this year because Terry and Don were really great to work with. And the students were really great to work with as well. And I just wanted to say that I still do see some of the students from Strive last year at Normandale this semester, and I've really made an effort to really connect with them. And a lot of them have said that they were so grateful for the Strive program because it's helped them out so much with financial means, and so many of them were so grateful to receive the scholarships that they received. And one of them, she's even a student worker on campus too, so it's really great to just see where the former Strive students, because a lot of them were sure where they were to go from after high school, and seeing them now, and they're really happy with their experience at Normandale. And I've had a really great experience at Normandale, and like Terry said, I'm in my last year at Normandale, and I have plans to major in social work. And I'm also really sad to say that this is my last year at Normandale, because Normandale has been like home to me, and Normandale has been my place that just where I just really have gone to like college at my own pace, and I've just really figured out what I wanted to do because of my experience at Normandale. And one of the things that Normandale has really helped me was just to really figure out what I wanted to do. And I chose social work because of a program called Leadership Through Service at Normandale. And Leadership Through Service, Iriah and Fatima are in it right now. And it's a program at Normandale where they select 5 students every semester, and I was one of the 5 students that was chosen last year. And in that program, they require students to do about, or at least when I was in it, they required students to do 300 hours of volunteer work within a year. And at the end of that year, and if you do the 300 hours, you get scholarship money, which was $1,000. I ended up doing over 370 hours of volunteer work since June of 2016. And at the end of the program, I got about a total of $2,350 worth of scholarship money because of my, experience with Leadership Through Service. And in my experience, I did a lot of volunteering. 370 hours is a lot. Not everyone can say that, so I'm really happy I could say that. And I was working with so many different kinds of individuals, individuals who were experiencing homelessness, children exposed to trauma, at-risk youth, and high school seniors like many of you in this room. And all that experience just really solidified the fact that I love working with people, and I love working with, just very issues that just really go on in society that just get overlooked. So I chose social work because of Leadership Through Service, and my time at Leadership Through Service was just really life-changing. And if it wasn't for Leadership Through Service and my time at Normandale, I would not be standing up here talking about, my experience in college. And if you were to ask me 4 years ago if I would be in a room speaking in front of so many people, I would be like, yeah, no. And, and now I can, and it's, and I've really gained so much more confidence because of my, time at Normandale. And also, like, one thing I've noticed this year at least is that I have a tendency to talk a lot, and I have a tendency to ramble. So, whenever I meet people now, like, I'm always like, I'm sorry, I talk a lot. So if I talk too much, just let me know, and I will just stop talking. But, a lot of people have said that, they enjoy talking to me. So that makes me feel good. And, and I've had so many people tell me that I've made an impact in their life, and it's that kind of feeling is just really what pushes me to just really pursue social work. And right now, I'm looking at transferring to a 4-year after, and I'm looking at Augsburg University. And Alex was one of the Rotary members that really encouraged me to look at Augsburg. And at first I did it, but now it's a school that I'm hoping to transfer to because they have a really good social work program there. And so. But yeah, so my future is kind of like unclear, but I know I will go somewhere, and my dream is to really be the first person in my family to receive a master's in social work. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Alex, it just goes to show it. You learn something new about people all the time. I always thought you were kind of shy.
Yeah.
Maybe I just never shut up enough, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Simone?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Iriah Simone-Benedict, and I'm a part of the Leadership Through Service program with Alex and Fatima. As Alex stated earlier, I saw this opportunity when Paige emailed, the whole team about this, and I thought it'd be really cool to speak to high school students thinking about transferring and thinking about college. So that's why I'm here today. It's a good experience, and I'm very honored to be here. I started going to Normandale immediately after I graduated St. Paul Conservatory, downtown St. Paul. I come from a very musical family, very religious. As Terry stated, I am born in Houston, Texas, but I moved here when I was 7, and I've always been in music programs. I've always been in leadership programs, and I've always knew that music was my thing. So recently coming to Normandale, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew it was music. So I found out that Normandale is the only community college with the best music program. I found that out by my vocal instructor, and she told me to try out Normandale, and I did. Through the years, I first went there at 2015. About 2016, I found out that, okay, maybe vocal performance, and just recently I thought music education, just because I love teaching, and everyone asks me, how do you read music? How do you play piano? How do you get your voice to go in such a high register? So, I thought, why not influence people? Why not teach them about music? And so I thought to transfer, change my major, and now I'm looking to Gustavus. I'm supposed to hear back from them this week. I've been talking to Augsburg, the music, and the admissions. They know me well. And the U of M, too. I've been basically talking to them, and I should be doing auditions this week and turning them in. So I'm, currently in that process. My last year is this year. I graduate in the spring, and I do hope to pursue my bachelor's in music education, master in music education, along with that minor in business management. I do hope to, open up my own studio and have kids from different age groups come in, learn about music. I think it's a very good skill to have. I think without the arts, you lose a part of humanity. So without that, you lose a part of yourself. So I'm all for music, and I'm all for educating students. What else do I want to say? That's all I have to say.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I greet each and every one of you with Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum, may peace be with you all. My name is Fatima, as introduced, and my parents migrated when I was younger from Somalia. Not only did I had to adapt to a new education, a new system, I also had to learn to thrive in them. I'm first generation college, and I never understood the severity of what that meant until I became one myself. I'm first generation college student here in America. With my family, my grandfather was a doctor back in Somalia, but as far as people here in my family is concerned, I am first generation college, and I didn't understand how to navigate through the system, how to figure out what I wanted exactly. I knew I was interested career in medicine, but I didn't know where to go about and what to do. My senior year of high school, I applied to the one school I want to get into, the University of Arizona, and I did get accepted. I went to the University of Arizona for my freshman year and applied for a full-time job as a business support coordinator. And so I thought I would juggle a full-time college pre-med track and a full-time job as a business support coordinator. And that was interesting because it was really intensive. I remember also having a little bit of interest in medicine, in business, since I was working in business. So I signed up for calculus, chemistry, and information management 101. And because of my job, I wasn't able to join any of the orientation sessions or get any information on how to go about, where to find the resources, what to do in college. I went in and I said I did well in high school and I will do well in here too, without any guidance or what to do. Anyways, it was really tough when I walked into the Centennial Hall at the University of Arizona with 1,700 students sitting in there. I didn't know how to interact with the professor while using a clicker, a remote where you answer questions. And when I lined up to talk to the professor, there were 700 students when the 1,000 left. So there were 700 good students in line for me to see the professor. Anyways, I realized that environment was really tough for me. I was used to teachers in high school that I could talk to who would guide me what to do and this and that was not there. And the professor left the students that were assisting there who were not helpful. So at that time, I had to decide and make a decision. After my first exam in chemistry, I had a project and I had my full-time job that was waiting for my attention. I didn't know what path to take and what to do. I remember sitting under a tree and crying on the campus because my family is so proud of me. I got accepted to university and I have this amazing job. I'm just figuring out what I needed in life. And I decided at that point, do I want to work because I was really good at my job? I was really good at what I did and I get paid well. Did I want this job and proceed with it and leave college? Or did I want an education in my life? And I realized as a youngster who grew up in Somalia, I knew the need for medicine. I have been in situations myself where I need a doctor, where medication access that I wanted specifically for a moment wasn't there. So I knew I wanted a career in medicine, and I knew I would not be satisfied and be happy with myself 10 years down the line if I'd look at the mirror if I didn't tackle this. So I decided during the summer to come here and take a class and test myself at a community college. And I took two classes at Normandale Community College during the Ramadan, in which we fast for 18 hours. And I remember I passed with very flying scores with satisfying scores with my chemistry and biology class while I was fasting for 18 hours and I had to study in 1 month. So I told myself, if I can do this, then I can definitely do it. I transferred entirely to Normandale Community College, and over the semesters that I've been there, I found myself. I found what I wanted. I found exactly what path I want to go about and how I want to go about. My option at the beginning, when I was at the bottom, I had two options: to walk away or to face the adversities that were right in front of me. And I came to realize adversities that take place in our lives are not meant to deteriorate us, but rather it's meant to mold us and redirect us into better paths for our lives, to find the better version of ourselves. I found a better version of myself in Normandale Community College. I found a community where I can relate to, and if I've learned one thing, I remember they would always say you find yourself in college. Even though I'm still in the journey of finding myself, I understood what that meant. You have to learn to be okay with being the lone wolf, being okay with what you are, who you are, and what you want in life. And trust me, you will meet a whole pack that's just like you. So be yourself. I know it's going to be hard, but also don't be afraid of the adversities that will come in your way. Trust me, you will have nights you have to cram and stay up. You'll have tough days. You will have times where you don't know what you want to do in life. But remember, keep pushing, because that's what I did. I kept pushing. Right now, I am doing a sonography, and a lot of people don't know what that is. It's diagnostic ultrasound imaging. So we use ultrasound to test for imaging, and I am learning to get into both the cardiac, the OBGYN, because I want to be a doctor. I want to do all of them and take the board exam for all of them. So I will be transferring to the U of M in Rochester, where they have the best hospital in the world, Mayo Clinic, and I hope to do my rotations there and get experience and also interact with the people and create connections so that when I start medical school, God willing, I'll be able to have people that I've already connected with and made network with so that I can do my rotations there. That's my goal. I can continue all day. I do talk a lot, like Alex said. But I have learned one thing through college, and that is don't give up. Don't give up. You will find yourself. You will find what you need. You will find resources. Hence why I joined this particular program that would help high schoolers. I remember myself, when I started college at the beginning, I didn't know what to do, as I've said it earlier. And it's really important that you figure out your resources. Figure out, please participate in all the orientations. Listen to your mentors. You guys are very lucky to have mentors here who are guiding you through, and you have this opportunity. So take advantage of it, because there will be times where you come to questions and you won't have answers. As I said, Normandale for me, thank God, was an opportunity. It was a small home. I particularly choose Normandale because they have the rigorous toughness to prepare me for a four-year college, but at the same time, the small size that I needed to be able to help me learn in a smaller classrooms. Paige have also been one of the people that motivate me. I run to her office every time in the Office of Experiential and tell her this is what's happening and that's what's happening. Anyways, right now I'm taking classes. I'm still working on my progress of transferring. Because of the program that I'm in, I got a position to work as front desk office at the same day surgery, really exciting. I also found myself job shadowing opportunities there. I've shadowed doctors, OBGYN, who agreed to mentor me. I'm currently building myself both in community service-wise, academically, mentorally, and I have a full-time job that I made sure it's only in the weekend so I can have time for my school. That's basically what I would say. If you guys have any questions for me, I can talk all day. Have a great day.
Miss Fatima. This is the time when we're going to open the program up for questions. So if you have something, think about it, and we'll get you up here. But I want to start, if I can, and we'll just go in reverse order. And let's say I'm going to let the biggest cat out of the bag first. Okay? And that is, we all know education costs a lot of money, and it's challenging for a lot of us. If you don't mind, if you could just share some of your experiences, what you have faced, how you've overcome it, what you're worried about in the future, whatever you want to share.
Definitely. So yes, it's no secret that college is really expensive, and particularly for me, my parents were immigrants, so they didn't have the opportunity to save money to pay for my college. As I started the University of Arizona, the tuition was expensive, paying for my living was expensive, and immediately I made a decision that for me personally, it was not worth it. Starting a journey at the beginning when I didn't know what I wanted to do, paying for four-year university with the tuition and the residency and everything that came along with it. So one of the reasons that I decided to go to community college was to save money. With financial aid and me working, I was able to not only pay for myself, but also be able to get the books covered, applying for any scholarship opportunities I get, being in the program here. So I personally believe that that's how I am paying currently, and later on, I'm currently a phlebotomist. I forgot to mention that. So I have a phlebotomy degree, and currently, because I have a job here, once I move to Rochester, I'm going to work with my phlebotomy degree part-time to also take care of my livings there. I also have a CNA, so that too will help me. And once I graduate from college, I plan to work as a sonographer just to save money for medical school while I do research and prepare myself. And I know I won't be able to pay all of medical school, but I will have enough. I personally believe that the lesser loan you can take, the better. So when you're deciding schools, personally for me, I think the lesser the loans, the better, unless you're going into computer science engineering, which you'll be able to pay back the next year. But that's how I am personally deciding. If you have any particular questions that I didn't answer.
Terry, were you eligible for a Pell Grant?
I was, and I fill out as soon as, every year I fill out the beginning of the year.
And can you tell them to please make sure they fill out their FAFSA forms?
That's how you get through college. Yes, I fill out my FAFSA every year. I've never missed one. And also they help you with textbooks too. So what you can do is, when the beginning of the school year, you can go get your textbooks. You might reimburse some later, but at the beginning of the semester, I would highly recommend that you fill out your FAFSA. The sooner the better, because it's money that's there and it's for all students. First comes, first served.
How much was that Pell Grant? Is that something you have to pay back?
No, you don't. It's a free money that the American government, thank God, put it aside for you, for each individual here who's citizen. And so you can apply. I don't have to pay back. That's the good part. It's investment for me, so I can contribute back to society. And so yes, it's a $5,700. For me, I get $5,500, all full of it. And you can get more. The states match, the schools match. But the sooner you apply, the sooner you will get the match. I think that's about it.
Thank you. Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
This is not a question, but it's a comment. I congratulate you for having a vision and having a goal for yourself. The other word for it is a dream. And you can realize that dream and you are in the process. And this is the only one country in the world which can make you a medical doctor, what you dream about.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Simone, would you share your experiences, please?
Yes. So I come from a single parent home. It's just my mom, me, and my sister. So the reason why I chose a community college, it's a lot less expensive, a lot less than the U of M or any university out there. So I knew that, Normandale is around $5,000 or so tuition every year. So I knew that that'd be very feasible for me. So that's why I chose a community college and Normandale. So I always think to myself, because I have seen a lot of experiences in my mom's family and her friends, that debt is very huge. And so I'm very afraid of debt. So before I take out any loans, and I haven't taken out any loans since, and I'm very grateful for that, I've basically depended on FAFSA, our Pell Grants. Since I'm a music student, we have auditions. I auditioned for everything. That's free money. You know, you go in, you sing, they'll interview you, and then they'll give you the results, and there you go, that's free money. So I make sure that I audition every single year because I do not have the means by myself to take care of tuition. So auditions, FAFSA, and you know, my personal job, I do work in the admissions office. I help students and parents, you know, when they're coming to a decision about Normandale, I'm there at admissions, so that's my primary job. Also, before I take out any loans, I do just make sure that anyone can help me. If my mom can help me, or a family friend can help me, even a church. I know that when you do move on, when you want to pay for college in the future, you have to pick a college that will give you lots of money, because if you just choose a college that doesn't have any scholarships for you, you will be paying out of pocket. So it's always good to do your research at a four-year institution and make sure that they have scholarships ready for you. Any grants that you can get, that's very helpful. So I know if I'm applying to Gustavus, there's a church scholarship. And I'm very religious, and I go to church basically from morning to night on Sunday. And so I know that I can automatically get that church scholarship. Also, if you have good grades, here at Normandale, we have Phi Theta Kappa. You get an automatic free money. I think it's like $2,500, and that is basically for Normandale and any school. So if you have a GPA higher than a 3.5, you can apply for Phi Theta Kappa and you get automatic free money. So that's how I've basically paid for school. Haven't taken out any loans. I'm not in debt, so I'm very thankful for that. And when I move on to a four-year institution, auditions, grants, any way I can, you know, minimize my debt, that's what I do. So.
Yeah, so I chose to go to the community college because it was a lot more affordable. I'm lucky to have parents that have helped me support my educational expenses. But then I've also, but then I guess recently this past year and this year, thankfully, a lot of my tuition was paid based off scholarship money I've received. I always encourage students to really apply for scholarships because there are so many scholarships out there for high school seniors especially. And so a lot of them vary just based on academics and a lot about volunteer services. And so a lot of websites that I use, there's like FastWeb, and then normally colleges offer scholarship money to new students as well. And then I guess another way that's been helping me with paying for tuition is that I do work study on campus. So when you fill out your financial aid, you get federal work study money from the school. And I don't really know how, a lot of it, I'm not too keen on like how to explain all of that, so I don't want to say anything, so don't quote me on that. So, but I do get federal work study money, and which means that I get to work on campus as a student worker, and a lot of the what I earn is based off how much money I get from my financial aid. And so I do 2 work study jobs on campus. So one job I work with first year students, and then another job I do peer mentoring. So, and one thing that I like about working on campus is that it's helping me pay for tuition, but then it's also just so nice to just really work on campus and not have to like kind of stress out over working off campus, because I also did like another on-campus job last year, and which helped pay for my tuition. So I mean, going to school part-time or full-time and working part-time, can definitely help pay with tuition. But it's just one thing that you have to be careful about, not working too many hours and not really overworking yourself. And just like these girls were saying, just really apply for scholarships, really kind of work on building your resume, because the more, I guess, volunteering you have and the better your grades are, the more likely chance that you have at really earning scholarship money. So, and the Strive scholarship money is really good too. A lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of the former Strive students said that the money that they received from Strive really helped pay for for this semester and next semester too. So.
Jerry, I just want to make a comment when we're talking about scholarships and things. Another scholarship that we have in Bloomington is the Education Foundation. Every year gives, Karen, $35,000 a year in scholarships, and that's to Bloomington students. And again, you can talk to your counselor about applying for those things, but again, there's a lot of money that's out there, but you have to take and shake the trees.
Terry?
Yes, sir.
You might mention Richfield Bloomington Credit Union scholarships.
Yes, we have some too. The point being that school is expensive, but there's a lot of ways, if you're focused, that you can deal with it. Number one, always take the FAFSA. Just because you complete the FAFSA, maybe you get awarded a Pell Grant that you don't have to worry about. Maybe you get awarded a loan. You don't have to take it, because debt is bad, is it not? Debt is bad. It may be necessary. We talked about this, I think, in our educational class, trying to summarize. There are opportunities to work. Apply, open your mind, apply to all the schools you want. We were presented a class here or at Rotary not too long ago. I forget the name of the lady, but basically, many schools may be after you in particular. And although the school may advertise that it costs $40,000 a year to go there, they may actually give you $28,000 in scholarships if you do. So keep an open mind. Do what you have to do. Stay focused. But no matter what, follow your dream and go to school. Yes, sir.
Let me add one more thing. I think you need to go a little step beyond that and look at what your return on investment is going to be. Rather than just go to the school that costs the least, go to the school that's going to have the best return on your investment. If you go to a school that costs $5,000 and you can only make $15 an hour when you get out, as opposed to a school where they cost 10 or 12 or 15 or 20,000 a year, but you can make $40 or $50 an hour when you get out, you're way better off looking at that. So don't just price shop. Look at what the outcomes are. Look at and see what, because the colleges all have to maintain outcomes on where their students are going, what kind of salaries they're making, how quickly they graduated. You have to look at all those kind of things. So.
What we're talking about here in practical terms is, I'll give you an example. There's a author by the name of J.D. Vance. He was born in the Holler area of Kentucky and moved to the steel mills of Ohio with his family. He went to the University of Ohio and had a desire to go to law school. Luckily, he had some mentors at the school that told him, you need to apply to Ivy League colleges, not just local law schools. He ended up going to Harvard University Law, and he paid less than it would cost to go to a state school in Ohio. That's what we mean about keeping your options open. Now, I'm going to ask you ladies to kind of digress a little bit. And if you can, think back to when you were in high school, how you looked at things then, how you're looking at them now. And how did that process work for you? Because I'm imagining, like for most of us, it's never an easy process to transition from one phase in your life to the next. Okay, Alex, would you begin, please?
Okay, so high school Alex was very, very shy, very, very quiet. She wasn't really really involved with the community, and I was just, in high school I just focused a lot on just getting good grades, and that's like pretty much it. And I didn't really think about networking and connecting with the community or just talking to my professors in my high school. But and so like transitioning to college was a very different experience for me, especially being like a first generation college student. None of my parents received a bachelor's, and none of them really helped me with college either. So I kind of had to figure it out on my own. which was really challenging. So, you know, when I first started college, I was kind of like, I kind of felt lost almost, and I kind of felt like, wasn't sure if this was a place that was really for me, and was college really for me. But then I kind of just really wanted to just really change that mindset, because I knew I wanted to just do better for myself. And I knew doing better for myself was more than just getting good grades. And that's just kind of that was just my view. And so at least when I started getting a lot more involved at Normandale, and a lot more involved with, you know, just the professors and just the community and just really talking to people, I kind of just really started to just really feel a lot more confident in my future, and kind of just where I was going, and just in who I am as a person and who I want to be. And now I'm because of college and because of my time at Normandale, I've just really gained so much more confidence in myself, and talking about myself, and, you know, and my future pretty much. And I and you know, and being a first generation college student, you know, you know, we face a lot of struggles in adjusting and adapting to college. But then I kind of think that there's beauty in struggle, because, you know, being a first generation college student is very empowering, because, you know, we all have, you know, all students have the potential to do, you know, to go to college and to be the first ones in your family to, you know, to graduate, you know, with a bachelor's or a master's. And we all have the potential to, you know, to achieve that. And, you know, the Bloomington Rotary members are here to support you, and the STRIVE program is really here to support you. And whatever college you go to, the people there are really meant to support you. And because of the people at Normandale, like, I've never felt so much more supported in my life, and kind of just really where I'm going. So that's just kind of how I am at right now with my college experience. So
Thank you. Simone, we've got about 4 minutes left, so
Okay.
if you get 2 minutes each.
Okay, great. So when I was in high school, I was alone with going to college, because none of my family, my immediate family, ever went to college. So I kind of just had to figure it out. So I basically, you know, applied for colleges. I did the ACTs very late. And I didn't do it again. My first score was really bad, and I didn't know that you could do it again and again to get a higher score. So I do regret not doing my ACT over. I did apply to St. Olaf College, and it's like maybe $50,000 a year or something like that. And I was just so in love with their music program, and I met Dr. Armstrong and the whole admissions team. My first application was incomplete, and in the summer of 2015, my bishop at my church called the St. Olaf admissions board, and they all met. They viewed my incomplete application, my ACT scores, and my essay. And I got a word back, and they said everything was fine except your ACT score. And I looked back on it, and I was like, oh, I should have, you know, retook ACTs, because if I did, then I'd be at St. Olaf. So just a point and advice for you guys, I always say retry your ACT score, and don't just stop your application, because, again, I was applying to another school, so incomplete, and I didn't have, you know, a good support team, because no one in my family finished or even thought about college. So again, I just had to figure it out myself. So going to Normandale, having a support team, since I work in admissions, I give tours, and I always tell, you know, every student, every parent, the advising office, they're there to help. They're like your guardian angels. They want you to be on a, you know, a good path. They want you to succeed. They want you to go to a four-year institution. They want you to have, you know, a good GPA. So I very highly recommend, if you guys do go to Normandale or any school, just connect with a counselor. Make sure that they know your path, you know their path, because, you know, that will lead you to the road of success. So that's all I have.
It looks like the social aspect and the transition aspect is covered, so I'll just tell you about the transition in terms of academics. I was pretty active in high school. I was involved in 13 different programs throughout my time in high school. taking leadership programs, traveling to Fordham University in New York, and basically I was okay in high school. I knew how to cram because I was so active sometimes for exams. I knew how to cram last minute and I would still get my A's. But in college, that's not the same because they already talked about everything else. I'll tell you few things that you need to inspire yourself. I highly recommend that you figure out how you study. That's the number one thing in college. Earlier, some of the groups in my table who was talking to you guys about in life, in our time, you have to learn how to adapt and how to learn. Learning how you learn is the key to college. It's not how talented or how intelligent or how good you are or how passionate. It's how you, knowing what works for you. I personally finally figured out that I have to study 95% by myself and join a group for the last 5% in order to get the scores I want. I have figured out that I cannot sit for a straight 1 hour and study, so I do 45 minutes alarm clock. I jump around for my 15 minutes and do whatever I need to and come back. I figured out, and it's just you have to figure out what works for you, what type of environment. Are you good at stuck in a small room, or do you fall asleep? So do you need to be in an area where people move? Do you need to block your headphones? All that. Another thing that I use to motivate myself is, because I'm interested in medicine, I purchased, or actually got it as a birthday gift, a stethoscope, a lab coat, and blood pressure monitor, the cuff manual. And so I hanged them as if a doctor's wedding. I put it on a hanger and it's right on top of my bedroom. And I walk into my room, and whenever I don't want to study or do anything, I tell myself, if you want to wear that suit, you better go on. So it's a reminder. Even the times I want to be in my room and just play around, I remind myself, would a doctor do this? If you're dealing with a competitive group, would you do this? If any of you are interested in getting on that track, there is a program that's actually created for the underserved community, which I find out at the U of M. The director of the program is called Mary Tates, and what the program is, it's a semester program. You enrolled, you don't have to be at the U of M to be part of that program, and they will train you. You will shadow over 25 doctors. You would be trained step by step, from point A to Z of how to get to medical school. So I'm pretty sure whatever program you're interested, there is a program like that here in the country. So figure out your resources. There is TRIO program. If any of you are from underserved community or low income family, go into TRIO. I'm currently a student at the TRIO program. TRIO, it's a program that's created for students from the underserved community, and they help you get books. They help you, it's extra level of advising. They help you sign up for courses earlier than you need to. So figure out, if I would leave you with one thing today, it would be, do not allow adversity to crush you. It's the universe's way of redirecting you, or shall I say, God's way of redirecting you in what you were really supposed to be. And I would say find your resources, use your resources, take advantage of your time, and do not let your dreams die. Pursue something. I know you're all capable of being something greater than yourself. So thank you. And remember one more thing, the opportunity you have right now today, there are thousands of students who would wish to be in your place. There are kids in the world that don't have academic access. Today you have the chance to make a future for yourself where you can go into the world and make an impact. I will stop with my talking.
All three of you stand up, please? How about a round of applause, please, for all three of our young ladies? They took their own time today just to come by and share a message with you. I'm going to have to turn the program back over to our president, Miss Newman. She gave me this beautiful outline and said, follow this and you'll be okay. And I went, I got number one right. And then I jumped right into what I came here for, so I am sorry, Deb.
Oh, no, it's beautiful. Wow, that was very inspirational. Thank you for that. It almost had tears in my eyes. I just want to share with the Rotarians in the room what is coming up next. And of course, that's tomorrow. We have our Christmas celebration together at Minnesota Valley at 5:30. So I hope, even if you haven't registered, just come and we'll figure out how to get whatever we need to accommodate however many people show up. I just think it's important for all of us to be together. And then December 11th, we have the update on Moses, a young man that the Rotarians here in the United States changed his life. And December 18th is what would Hazel do. So we have 3 more meetings here at the hotel. For the students, I want to share with you that each meeting I've been ending with a Mother Teresa quote because our theme is making a difference. And one of the other things I want to share with you is that if you get a scholarship from the Rotary, it was probably one of the people in this room that wrote a check. I just want all of you to know that when you get a scholarship, there's somebody in some organization writing a check. And it's because we really believe in you. And so everyone at these tables is here. They're with you every month in those classes. They're writing checks for you behind the scenes because we really believe in you. We are there for you, and we're your team. You know, we're just an invisible team that's behind you, trying to inspire you as well. So I want to close with Mother Teresa quote, and I think it's very appropriate for today. There is nothing more calming in difficult moments than knowing there is someone fighting for you. Go out and make a difference.